The opinions expressed in this program reflect only those of the participants and are not necessarily those of the sponsors, management, or staff of WTBQ Radio or FST Broadcasting Corporation.
WTBQ. Well, good morning, and it's Orange County Good Morning in New York, and good morning Orange County, California, and good morning Malibu, because I have a special guest with me this morning, Joan Steiger, and she's going to be signing autographs today for her book, Brooklyn Baby. So good morning, Joan.
Good morning.
I'm so glad to have you on the air with us, and I'd love to hear how this Brooklyn Baby story, you're obviously from Brooklyn, correct?
Yes, I was born in Brooklyn, the Park Slope section of Brooklyn.
Do you know, I have a very close friend who lives in Park Slope, has lived there her whole life since the 50s.
Really?
Yeah, on 7th Avenue.
Oh, well, this is above 7th Avenue. It's I was born and lived in my grandfather's brownstone house, and it was 3 doors from the park.
Yeah, so, she also has a brownstone that was inherited from her parents, and she's about, I guess, 2 or 3 blocks from Prospect Park, too. That's really small world.
Yes. Well,
and she actually knew Rod Steiger very well.
Really?
Her name is Ruth Edibles.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember that. But anyway, I want to talk about your book because Brooklyn Baby is great. I mean, anybody who knows Brooklyn knows that is a wealth of everything.
Well, I spent my few years growing up until I was 10, and then my mother sent me off to Rome to study ballet, and I was a member of the Royal Opera Ballet School. And at the time, I wanted to be a ballerina, but changed my dancing hopes to tap dancing, which I still do.
Good for you. I bet you that keeps you in great shape, too.
Well, I'm a size 6,
all right.
like I've always been.
That's what tap dancing will do for you, that's for sure.
I'm too vain to ever be fat.
Whatever helps. Now, you were on a lot of the great shows of yesteryear, like the Steve Allen Show, and he was a genius behind the Tonight Show.
Absolutely. Well, that was one of my first jobs when I was not quite 18, and I was on the show for about a year. I actually started doing all the live commercials for a cosmetic company at the time, and I was doing the commercials live, which
yeah, they don't do that. That's sort of like a Lucille Ball bit, right?
That's right. And I was doing that for a year, and then graduated to doing skits on the show.
Yeah, those were the great old days. I wish they would bring that back because right now it's so contrived.
Well, everything, and also for actors, it was so wonderful. I remember I had 3 different agents, and I could walk into a studio, and they'd say, "Oh, hi, Joe. Oh, great. Gee, we have something right now for you."
That's amazing. Now today it's completely different.
Oh, and now there's so many producers. The credits
I know, 50 people.
So amusing. Assistant to the producer's assistant,
and the secretary to the producer's assistant.
Yes, of course. Yeah, right.
Crazy stuff. Now, I believe you did a solo show about Leona Helmsley.
Yes, that was, I really enjoyed doing. I've done over 30 stage plays, which is my really first love. And I did a one-woman show called Leona here on Melrose Avenue in Hollywood. And that was challenging and wonderful to do. I spent the whole time during the play on stage. It was just one act, which was an hour and 20 minutes.
So it was a one-woman show.
Yes, and so I spent a lot of, many months learning, and I remember opening night, the director said to me, "Now, don't worry, Joan, I'll be off stage to cue you if you're up on your lines." I said, "Oh my gosh, you will not break my whole trend."
Exactly. What the heck was he thinking?
Yeah.
Now, did you ever have a chance to meet Leona?
No, she was in jail at the time.
Oh boy, yeah, she
in
was
Connecticut.
That was a piece of work if there ever was one.
Yes, that was. Well, that's another story.
Yeah, exactly. That's Act 2.
Yes, right.
Oh my gosh! So you were married prior to Rod too, right?
Yes.
Who was the gentleman you were married? I know it was
John Myers. With hundreds of credits, Broadway and TV, movies, everything. John was on the one night on the Jack Parr show doing his comedy. He was the funniest man in the world, and Richard Rogers was watching that evening. So,
by the way, for our listeners, that's Rogers and Hammerstein.
Yes, Richard, right. And then, so I went with him. He said, "Come with me to the Lunt-Fontanne Theater. Richard Rogers wants to see you." So I remember I stood in back of the theater. It was completely empty, except in the front rows were Mary Martin, Leland Hayward, Richard Rogers, all the greats of the Broadway theater.
There is a picture if I ever saw one. Wow.
Yes, it was so thrilling, and I stood in the back while John walked around the stage with Florence Henderson. All of a sudden, and John sang, of course, he had an operatic voice, and all of a sudden we heard this voice, and it was Richard Rogers said, "Oh, no," and we thought, oh, my gosh, what happened? Well, he's not Max, he's Captain Von Trapp. They had called him in for the comedy role, and, of course, he was so elegant-looking and handsome. In a moment, he was Captain Von Trapp, so he was signed for a 3-year contract for the first touring national company of Sound of Music. And we were married on the road in Chicago because he was starring there at the Schubert Theater for a year. It was just an incredible contract because there were all the largest cities and all the large theaters. So 3 years he was Captain Von Trapp. And then we settled in California.
How long have you been living in California now?
Well, since 1962.
Wow, forever.
Yes. So I'm really a Californian.
You're a California girl. There's no doubt about it.
No.
So, and do you have family out there in California now?
Well, I just have one daughter, and she lives here, too. Not in Malibu. She lives in Pacific Palisades, the next town.
Okay, wonderful. At least she's nearby.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And
wonderful.
My mother always said, very important if you're going to have one child, make sure it's a daughter.
Now, I love my daughter, but in my book, it's so funny. I said, see, I love men.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you on that.
But, let me ask you, where is Orange County, New York?
So that is the Hudson Valley. It's a bedroom. It's the affluent bedroom community of Manhattan.
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
see.
Beautiful here. It's absolutely stunning.
Oh, I'm sure. As long as I know Brooklyn, I've never been up in that
in upstate,
and I hear it's the most beautiful.
Oh, it's magnificent. It really is. We try to keep it as a secret, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, that's the way Malibu is now.
Exactly.
It's getting filled up.
Yeah, Malibu's beautiful. I haven't been there in a number of years, but it's always kept and maintained its persona.
Oh, it is, but it's getting busy now.
I'm sure the weather's changing, too.
Oh, people are coming in. Well, all good things.
Yeah, right. You can't stop it, I know. When did you actually meet Rod Steiger?
I met Rod. In fact, I met all the men that are in my book when I started acting. I acted with Rod in New York when I started out, and I met him. I was doing a comedy skit show, comedy and drama, and I did several skits with opposite Rod, and I remember in the dressing room and the makeup room. He was having makeup put on. He called over to me. He said, "Come here, little girl."
Oh, that would have scared me.
Famous.
Did he have
words.
any candy in his hand?
Yeah. And he, at the time, was starring in Rashomon on Broadway.
Oh,
also.
sure.
So anyway, he invited me to see the play. We went to dinner, and after that, we had many, many dates, and we had a beautiful, beautiful friendship. And then he had to go back to California to do a film, and I was just at the height working in television and so forth in New York. So he used to call me, I remember, from Malibu, because he had a home right on the ocean, and I'd hear the ocean in the background.
Oh, that's tempting.
And he wanted me to come out, and I said, well, no, I couldn't. And anyway, about 30, 40 years later, we got married out here on our home.
So it takes a while to get your attention.
In the meantime, I was busy in New York, and I was kind of busy with John.
Yeah. And so what year did you actually marry Rod?
19. Oh, gosh, now the time's gone by.
I know.
That's what you were going to say to John. See, I've had three.
There's the name of a book, My Three Loves.
Yes. Well, the book is mostly about the men and everything.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to be reading that book, I can assure you.
Well, and the title Brooklyn Baby just came to me immediately when I wanted to do the book. The thing is, I was telling all these stories to all my friends constantly, and they said, "Joan, you just have to write a book."
Absolutely.
Well, I interviewed so many co-writers, and finally got this wonderful co-writer, David Menasian, and he's a movie producer also. And
so he understood everything.
So it was about 2 years, 2.5 years that we worked on it. And I had the first launching here in Malibu on Saturday, and this Sunday I'm doing another book selling and reading at Diesel Bookstore in Brentwood.
Okay, so Diesel Bookstore in Brentwood tomorrow, is it on Saturday?
On Sunday.
Oh, on Sunday. And what time is that going to be?
3 o'clock.
Okay, 3 o'clock for everyone in California who is listening or close by or going to California this weekend.
Right.
Make sure you stop at that bookstore and say hi for us.
And not only that, it's in the Country Mart, which is a beautiful, beautiful, very, very large, wonderful stores. It's a lovely, lovely place. And it's the only bookstore there. So
yeah, there are few independent bookstores left, which saddens me.
Yeah.
We have two of them right here in Warwick. We have the Ye Old Warwick Bookshop, both in Greenwood Lake and in Warwick. So we're happy with them.
Yes. Well, Diesel, I think they have 3 or 4 stores in California.
That's great. Yeah, and we want to keep those independent bookstore owners.
I know. There's nothing like browsing through a bookstore. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there is not. Now, Jeremy Slade was in there, too, correct?
Oh, Jeremy. Oh, well, because I worked with Jeremy in New York also. And after Rod had passed away about 4 years, I was watching a television show, one of the movies he had done, I don't know, hundreds of shows. And I said, "Oh, Jeremy. Oh, I wonder how Jeremy is." I got his phone number, called him, and within a second he came down to see me in Malibu, and that turned into 8 years that he lived with me.
Oh, that's, how lucky to be able, and fortune, well, obviously it's your personality too, to find such wonderful people. People, go their whole life looking for one person.
Well, see, the thing is, I only am attracted to someone in the arts.
Right.
And so having worked with all of them, that's what you have to do. People have to realize when they get married, they should have something in common.
100%. And hence the reason I'm engaged to the man who owns this radio station.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's something we love. And when you when you have that first love together, everything after that becomes, we'll work it out.
Well, it's just wonderful. And that's really the secret. So
yeah, and absolutely
I've had nothing but happiness with him. Besides, besides, I'm kind of bored with anybody else.
Yeah, right. I always said the brain is the most erotic organ.
Oh, yeah, that's the great thing. Absolutely.
It is to me. Now, I understand you did for Fox a Dollhouse, which is one of my favorites. That is really an incredible piece of work.
Yes. Well, I did a couple of guest shots on that show.
And also you were in a feature called Dead Border. What was that about? I don't think I saw that one.
Deadly Border, done for television.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of a complex story. Do you have an hour?
Well, I do, but not on the air.
Yeah, right. That was an interesting picture. And then, of course, I did a couple with Rod.
Oh, what movies did you do with Rod?
Yeah, I did 2 with him. They were for television also. We did the Flying Dutchman. They changed that title to something very mysterious sounding, and I can't think of the name naturally right now. We shot in Montana, and I played his sister. And he was kind of an evil character.
Yeah,
naturally.
he was. Nobody.
Like
Rod was really one of the most amazing actors that ever lived.
Well, Rod was, and he was like a pussycat.
Yeah, off stage.
Oh, he was so wonderful. And everybody said, well, what was it like to work with him? I said, the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like if you're playing tennis with somebody that's so
like
great.
Like Martina Navratilova, right, exactly.
Yeah, and I remember we were doing some scenes, and his direction to me was, he said, just keep doing what you're doing. When I come in, you'll react to me. I said, great.
Yeah, that's the best way. That is the best. And listen, The Pawnbroker, everybody knows. I mean, it's one of the most incredible films ever made.
I know. He always, of course, spoke about how everybody, of course, thought he was getting the Academy Award. He was nominated for it. And he said that night at the awards, everybody was waiting. They announced it. And instead it was, what was it, Cat Ballou or something?
Oh, it's so absurd. That was the most absurd thing. Everybody was
and
like...
he said there was you could hear the whole audience, what,
Yeah, because that was ridiculous.
It was unbelievable.
I think that was Lee Marvin in Cat Ballou.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no comparison.
Well, there's apples and oranges.
Yeah, I mean, what did this comedy have to do with one of the most incredible films that was ever made in the history of filmmaking?
I know. So he received it the next year, of course, for Heat of the Night.
Yeah, which was another incredible performance.
Yes.
Amazing.
And he was and how about he was nominated for On the Waterfront with Marlon
Brando. That was, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I think one of my favorites is Dr. Zhivago.
Oh, I love that movie.
And he really should have been nominated there. He was the only American actor in the film.
Yeah, surprising. That's the thing that annoys me sometimes about the Academy Awards. Well, now there's no actors. They're just celebrities.
No, yeah. Oh, please. If you can understand what they're saying.
Yeah, not at all. I don't want to know anymore, honestly.
Oh.
I'm so devastated by what they've done because that was such an...
Well, there's no training,
nothing.
No nothing. And sometimes if I'm watching television, I thought I was going deaf because I said, well, I didn't understand a word she said.
I say that all the time. I said the other night, I said, what language are they speaking?
Yeah.
It's just...
so many times I've been tempted. I said, with all the problems in the world, I really would love to write to the president and tell him, we've really got a problem with our language.
It's incredible. And, David Lean, the director,
yes.
When he won an award at the AFI, he got up, I'll never forget this as long as I live, and he got up and he turned around and he berated everybody in the room and he said, what is wrong with you people? This is supposed to be arts. It's not supposed to be Porky's number 4.
Oh, my gosh.
He blew them out, and I was standing up and applauding. It was just amazing. I was like, where is the Hollywood that we love and adore? Because these are artists. They're not celebrities,
Oh, gosh. That's why TCM is so...
Right.
so popular. I just all the movies. It's such a pleasure that everything about the films are wonderful.
Well, those
and the
were
actors, and the speech, and the.
And that was real acting. That was real writing.
Well,
that was real lighting.
You never had to say, what did he say?
And never. And, even down to the way the lighting was done in those days.
Oh, well, everything. It was such exquisite, as you say, real art.
Yeah, that is real art. What they have now, not so much at all. Not even close.
No, and everything's just so quick and, oh, God.
I know. If I see another car crash, I mean, I'm just...
Oh, I know.
I used to go to the movies every week. I mean, without fail. Now, I don't remember the last time I've been to a film because there's, it's just a constant conversation about, I don't want to spend my money on that.
I know.
I want to see art. I don't want to see somebody who's trying to make a few dollars this week.
Yes, it's something. Well, I'm glad. Well, we can always watch TCM.
Oh, I watch it all the time. Trust me.
Me too.
It's my favorite channel.
And everybody I know here watches it
too.
I
mean, it's the way movies should be. Are you doing any acting at all lately?
Oh yes.
Oh, good. What are you in?
I expect to do a couple of films. Well, the producer who was my co-writer, David Manassian, is currently there. It's almost ready to go into casting and production. It's a wonderful film called Wind of Heaven, and it's about these the wonderful wild horses that the government comes around periodically to in certain locations to collect, and I come and collect, and I don't know what happens to the horses.
I know, and I don't even want to say.
Yes. But and it takes place here in California, and of course there's a group of animal lovers and horse lovers that get involved with this one event about collecting the horses. It's a really beautiful picture, and also my producer wrote the music for it. He's an accomplished musician also.
Wow, we really have to get you back on when this movie is going to be released, because this is I would love to be able to announce that out and let people go see it.
Yes, it's really a beautiful script. It's not about car crashes.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to see that, and also to make people aware of the fact of what's going on. It's not just another petition, folks. This is reality. It's very important. I work with a lot with the animal rights and animal activists.
Oh, really? I have my little puppies here in the room with me. He's 8 months old. He's a Shih Tzu, a toy Shih Tzu.
Oh, my gosh.
He's so adorable, you can't believe it.
Oh, I can't. I call them my fur kids.
Yeah. Oh, God.
They are, and you don't have to put them through college either, and they don't aggravate you when they're teenagers.
Right.
They're wonderful.
Oh.
So Joan, it's so wonderful to speak with you. It's so good to hear a real actress who has a love of what she does and share that with everybody. And I want everybody to go out and buy Brooklyn Baby.
Oh, please do. All they have to do is just dial into Amazon.
Sure, or go to our local bookstore, or any local bookstore. Ours is Ye Olde Warwick Bookshop here in Warwick and Greenwood Lake, and there are independent bookstores all over the United States. Let's keep them in business, and go into your local bookstore. If they don't have it, make them order it. I'm sure they will.
Yes, Brooklyn Baby.
Brooklyn Baby, and I'm going to put.
And it's Bear Manor Media.
Bear Manor Media.
Yes, BEAR, Bear Manor Media is the publisher.
All right, fantastic. I'm so pleased. I can't thank you enough for coming on the air. It's been such a delight.
Oh, thank you. It was so wonderful speaking with you.
All right, and we'll talk again in the near future. I want to definitely have you on for the movie.
Oh, I will.
All right, Joan, be well, and give that puppy a kiss for me.
I will.
All right,
thanks
take
so
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was Joan Benedict Steiger, one of what I consider what real Hollywood was like. This was a woman who you can tell just incredibly intelligent, very well versed, worked at a time in an era in film when it was about acting, when it was about an art And she definitely had the art form. There's no doubt about it. And how wonderful that she was with 3 men in her life who she adored and who were wonderful people. I mean, most people don't get one of those. She got 3 of them. So God bless you. And she's just one. I can't wait to have her on again to talk about the new film that's coming up. But I also want to mention that in a week from today, a week from Friday, on June 17th, Friday night, in Greenwood Lake, I'm going to be signing books and talking about the book that I wrote called I Love You Goodbye, How to Rid Your Life of Toxic Relatives and Friends Without Using Harmful Pesticides. And I will be in Greenwood Lake. There'll be no snow. There'll be no hail. And sitting next to me right now is Kevin Sweeney, who's going to be coming up with the Greenwood Lake Show. And I know he's going to say something because every time I'm about to go to Greenwood Lake, what happens?
We have a huge storm.
Say that again?
We have a huge storm every time you come to Greenwood Lake.
So that means a hurricane will be coming. It never fails. Every time I used to make plans to go to Greenwood Lake in the winter, a snowstorm or a blizzard would hit, something bizarre.
Well, I'm fairly confident it won't snow next week.
Somewhere, but not here. But hopefully no rainstorm. So I'm very thrilled to be going to Greenwood Lake next Friday at E.L. Warwick Bookshop, right on Windermere Avenue, right across the street from Windermere Insurance Agency, where Kevin is. And Kevin will be coming over to say hello.
Oh, I certainly will.
And there is limited seating there, so I would suggest you call up and talk to Maria and make sure that she reserves a spot for you. We'll have some beverage and read the book, I Love You Goodbye, How to Rid Your Life of Toxic Relatives and Friends Without Using Harmful Pesticides. And we're going to have a discussion. Bring your relatives, bring your friends, make sure they get a copy so they know what the heck you're talking about.
And what time is it?
6 o'clock next Friday night in Greenwood Lake. So listen, everyone, have a great weekend. Tune in tomorrow to Leading Ladies, and there's tons of stuff going on. So check Facebook and Twitter. Have a great weekend. See ya.